Serie A remains one of the best leagues in Europe, and since the competition changed to a round-robin format in 1929, there have been various winners. Highlights: Serie A's reformatting from the 1929-1930 season has since seen 12 different winners of the competition. Hellas Verona, Sampdoria and Cagliari have all won Serie A once. Juventus have won Serie A the most times in history with 34 titles, including a record-breaking streak from 2011 to 2020. Serie A is one of the biggest football leagues in the world and has witnessed some of the best teams in history. From 1898 to 1922, the league was structured into regional and interregional groups. This changed from the 1929-30 season, when the league was organized into one group, regardless of region, in a round-robin format where everybody played each other once home and away. Since then, the format of Italy's top tier has stayed the same, with the number of teams varying from 16 to 20. Since 1929, there have been 12 different champions of the round-robin format. Juventus and the two Milan clubs have dominated Italian football, but there have been clubs elsewhere that have won the Scudetto. Here is a look at those dozen clubs and how many times they have won the league since 1929. Juventus, the first Serie A title was won by AS Ambrosiana, which was the former name of Inter Milan. Following the inaugural season, Juventus won the next 5 titles to kickstart the club's dominance in this competition. Juventus have won Serie A 34 times, which is the most of any Italian team. Between 2011 and 2020, the Old Lady won Serie A 9 consecutive times, which is a record. It wasn't until Antonio Conte's Inter Milan won the league in the 2020-21 campaign that their dominance finally ended. In fact, Conte was the manager to kickstart the period of dominance in 2011-12, when he led Juventus to an unbeaten season consisting of 23 wins and 15 draws. Inter Milan recently extended their Serie A trophy haul to 20, as they secured the 2023-24 title with 5 games to go. This is Inter's second Scudetto in 4 years, and under the management of Simone Inzaghi, they look like the most likely team that could enter a period of dominance like Juventus in the 2010s. The club's best period in the competition came from 2005 to 2010, when they won Serie A 5 times in a row. Club legends such as Marco Materazzi and Diego Milito were integral to the side's success in this 5-year run. In the 2006-07 season, Inter won 17 Serie A matches consecutively, which remains a league record. Also, in the 2009-10 season under the management of José Mourinho, Inter won the UEFA Champions League and Serie A double before the legendary Portuguese manager moved on to Real Madrid. AC Milan's league title in the 2021-22 campaign was their first in 11 years, and in the 21st century, the club have only won Serie A 3 times. The early 1990s were the most successful period for Milan, winning the championship 4 times in 5 years between 1992 and 1996. This was under the management of Fabio Capello, who also guided the club to 3 consecutive UEFA Champions League finals in 1993, 1994, and 1995. In 1994, they beat Barcelona 4-0 in the final. The 1950s were also a successful period for Milan in Serie A, as they won 4 titles. They had the attacking trio of Giarinoli, which was the nickname for the 3 Swedish internationals called Gunnar Gren, Gunnar Nordahl, and Nils Lidholm. They were seen as the main reason for the title victory in the 1950-51 season, which was Milan's first league title in 44 years and helped the club have further success in the mid-1950s. Torino's 5 consecutive title wins from 1943 to 1949 mean they remain one of the most memorable teams in Serie A history. The captain and talisman of the team was Valentino Mazzola, who was the top scorer in the 1946-47 season with 29 goals in 38 games. Torino were prolific this season, scoring 104 goals. At an average of nearly 3 goals per game, the 1947-48 was seen as the strongest Torino team ever, winning the league by 16 points and winning 29 out of their 40 matches. Il Toro went on an unbeaten run of 21 games this season and were dominant throughout at home, winning 19 out of their 20 matches at the Stadio Philadelphia. Torino's latest Scudetto came in the 1975-76 season, when they beat Juventus to the title by 2 points, which was 27 years after the Superga air disaster, which claimed the lives of 31 people, including Torino players Nesti. Bologna's golden era occurred in the 1930s and early 1940s, when they won 4 Serie A titles. Their first victory in the new round-robin format was in the 1935-36 season, which saw the team score only 39 goals but concede 21. They were able to repeat the feat the following season under the management of Arpad Wise, who is still a legendary figure in the club's history. Angelo Schiavo played for Bologna for 17 years up until 1939 and played a key role in 3 Scudetto championships during his playing spell. Most recently, Bologna won Serie A in 1963-64 but have since struggled to compete for the title. In fact, the Red and Blues have experienced numerous relegations to Serie B since 1964. Things are looking up, though, especially under manager Thiago Motta, who has guided Bologna into the top 4 of Italy's top flight in the 2023-24 campaign. Roma are one of Italy's most well-recognized clubs, having had legendary players put on the yellow and red jerseys in past seasons. Francesco Totti is one of these, and he was one of the key players in Roma's last Serie A triumph in the 2001 season. Other players such as Gabriele Batistuta and Vincenzo Montella also played leading roles, as they secured Roma's first league title in 18 years by 2 points ahead of Juventus. The other 2 times Roma have lifted the Scudetto were in 1942 and 1983. Alfred Schaefer led the team to victory in 1942, while Nils Lidholm coached the team in 1983. Winning the championship in 1983 was Roma's first in 41 years, sparking wild celebrations in the capital city. If they can win Serie A once again in the next few years, similar celebrations will ensue. Napoli, when Napoli wins Scudetto, it is often memorable. Their first Serie A title was in 1986, led by Diego Maradona, as they won the league by 3 points. They added a second championship 3 years later under Alberto Bigon, cultivating Maradona into a godlike figure in Naples, where he is commemorated with murals across the city. They had to wait 33 years for the next Serie A title, when they won the league under Luciano Spalletti. Kvaratskhelia and Victor Osimhen were key figures in the 2022-23 season, as they helped their side win the league by 16 points. Osimhen scored 26 goals in this campaign, 5 more than his closest competitor, Lazio. Lazio have 2 Serie A titles to their name, with the last one coming in 2000. A year after Lazio missed out on the Scudetto on the last day of the season, they won the league for the first time in the 1973-74 campaign. Luciano Ciccone, Mario Frustoluppi, and Giorgio Chinaglia played key roles for the Eagles. Chinaglia led the goal-scoring charts this season, scoring 24 goals in 30 matches. In the 1999-2000 season, Lazio secured their second Serie A title under the management of Sven-Göran Eriksson. They won the league in dramatic style on the last day of the season, following a 3-0 home win against Reggina. Eriksson is fondly remembered by Lazio supporters, and following the shock announcement of his cancer diagnosis in early 2024, the Lazio fans revealed a banner at Stadio Olimpico that said, "Mr. Sven, we're with you, Fiorentina." Fiorentina have not won Serie A in 55 years, following the last triumph under Bruno Pesaiola in 1969. Legendary players such as Guido Grattan, Giuseppe Chiapella, and Giuliano Sardi helped Fiorentina win their first league title in the 1955-56 season. They finished 12 points ahead of Milan in what was a dominant season for Fulvio Bernardini's side. 13 years later, Fiorentina secured their most recent Serie A title. Mario Moraski scored 14 goals for I Viola in what was a tightly contested title race with Cagliari and Milan. Fiorentina were able to finish 4 points ahead of both teams, only conceding 18 goals in the 30-game season. Cagliari, the season following Fiorentina's championship victory in 1969, Cagliari picked up their one and only Serie A title. After narrowly missing out to Fiorentina in 1969, Cagliari were determined to go one better with their stubborn defense and clinical forward, Gigi Riva. The critical part of Cagliari's success was their defensive solidity, as they only conceded 11 goals in the 30-game season. This remains a record for the fewest goals ever conceded in Europe's top 5 leagues. In April 2023, Barcelona had only conceded 9 goals in the La Liga season, meaning the record was under threat. However, they went on to concede 20 in the 38-game campaign, keeping Cagliari's record intact. Hellas Verona. Before the 1984-85 season, Hellas Verona were not regarded as genuine title contenders. As the season wore on, though, Osvaldo Bagnoli's team picked up important wins against Juventus, Roma, and Udinese. They became the unlikely Serie A champions when they drew with Atalanta with a game to spare. Giuseppe Galdarese, Hans-Peter Briegel, and Preben Elkjær-Larsen scored 11, 9, and 8, respectively, throughout the season. Bagnoli's team only lost 2 matches this season, finishing 4 points ahead of Torino. Since 1985, Hellas Verona have dropped to both Serie B and C, with a flurry of relegations in the 1990s and 2000s. Sampdoria. Bogdan Boskov is regarded as one of Sampdoria's best-ever managers, as he led the club to their only Serie A title in the 1990-91 season. Sampdoria were up against the 2 strong Milan teams, Juventus and Maradona's Napoli. As a result, they were not tipped for the title by many fans or pundits. However, under the management of Boskov, Sampdoria were able to shock the football world and win the title. Gianluca Vialli and Roberto Mancini created a formidable partnership. Mancini often provided for Vialli, who scored 19 goals in 26 matches as Sampdoria finished 5 points ahead of AC Milan to secure the championship.